Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. CeeChronicles is my name and I post fragrance related content on this platform, guys. Now, if you're new here, please do consider joining this family by subscribing. And if you're returning, thank you so much for the continued support. Please check out my second channel, CeeChronicles Unscripted. I'm going to leave the interface of that channel on the screen, and you can find the link of that channel on my description. Now, the description, guys, is my YouTube page where you see my photo there. You click under that photo, it's going to say description, and then you will find the channel there, and you can go there and subscribe. I'd appreciate that. And on that same description, guys, I have a PayPal link that I created for those who want to donate towards the purchases of some of the fragrances on this channel. Reason why I created that link, guys, is I rely solely on AdSense. I do not have paid promotions, sponsorships, affiliate links, paid partnership, or a super thanks button. I do not have all these things, guys, because of my geographic location. So this channel relies solely on AdSense and views. Welcome to today's video, guys. This is a video that was requested by SNJZanad430. They asked a simple question, right, which I had been putting to the side for the longest time. I often have people asking me, please, can you show us how you spray your fragrances? Please, can you show us, the best points to spray the fragrances, how to make them last long, and how to layer fragrances. So the exact question, and I quote, was, please make a simple video about layering, where on your body and how to spritz. Okay, so I'm going to start with how to spritz, because that one's going to be faster than the layering one, okay? Because the layering one is quite a mouthful there. So I'm going to start, guys, with where to spray your fragrances, because I think that's going to be a quick one before we get into actually layering fragrances themselves. Now, I picked this particular fragrance for one reason. This fragrance is a soft fragrance, and this is easy for me to demonstrate to you because I want to go through the entire process, but making sure that I don't choke myself out. So this first part, you may want to skip if you are using a very heavy fragrance, for instance, like this, right? You don't want to go with Amir Al Oud and then start with behind the ears, behind the neck, that sort of thing. It might choke you out, because this first part where we spray our fragrance is because you want to maximize, you want to enjoy the fragrance yourself, and for close encounters, right? Like when you're going in for a hug, right? So you want to spray behind the ears, and there's no rule of thumb as to how many sprays. It just depends on how much you enjoy your fragrance. So it's behind the ears, behind the neck right there, okay? Behind the neck right there. And then you want to go right there in front there by the pulse points there. You want to go there again, and you want to go on the chest. Remember, I said this is for close encounters. This is for you to enjoy your fragrance. This is going to be giving whiffs of that fragrance directly into your nose basically the whole day. So you have to make sure that it's a fragrance that you like. Again, you're going to go behind the shoulders right there. Again, on the other side, after which you're going to go behind there, the arm, and then the other arm. It's just that my angle is awkward, but this is where I was spraying, okay, which is behind the arm. And then you want to go in front there of the shoulders, and then you do the same on the other side. And then you want to go there in your inner elbows, right? After that, guys, this is the part where a lot of people get it wrong. If you spray, I often see people spray like this, and then they rub the fragrance together. Please do not rub the fragrance. Let it do its thing. There is a reason why there is top notes, middle notes, and base notes. Now, if you spray the fragrance like that, what you get there is your top notes. That's what's going to hit you. After that, it then gets into the mid and then the base, and then it becomes what it's meant to be. So if you rub it like that, basically you're degenerating the fragrance, okay? You're mishmashing the notes there. Does it mean it's not gonna smell? It will smell, but why do it anyway? Let the fragrance do its thing. As you can see here, I am quite still oily there, because this has quite a good oil concentration. But I'm going to leave it like that. It's not that I'm going to spend my whole day, like this. It's just going to dry down nicely the way I want it. Okay, so after you've dealt with the top part, you then want to go to the midriff. You're not going to be able to see my midriff, unfortunately, but I'm basically talking about the waist area there. Okay, so you're going to spray however number of sprays you want to spray there. After which, you're going to go behind the knees, you're going to go on the ankles, and then the hem. There are some fragrances that I call hem fragrances, like this. I will keep bringing this one, guys, because it's one of the most polarizing ones I have on my collection. I call this one the hem fragrance because I spray it at the bottom of my clothes. You get maximum performance because you're walking. You get maximum performance or compliments because people can smell you. But it's not enough to disturb you, because Amir Al Oud Intense has got that smoky accord, which can be very thick, very polarizing, and a little bit heady there. So those are the ones I call the hem fragrances. And even then, you may want to take it easy with that. Another thing that I can say as just a bonus tip before we get into layering is, I personally don't buy hair mists because I wear wigs. Now, if you have a pleasant profile like this, you can even spray it on your hair. Remember, hair and wind work together. So if you're wearing like a wig like myself, or you wear wigs, you may just want to spray your fragrance on your hair. After that, if you flick or the wind hits you there, you get to enjoy your fragrance, and then you get compliments, from people around you. So that is what I can say basically, guys, about spray. Now, when it comes to layering, it just depends on the whole 9 yards, half the yards, or whatever. But I'm just going to try and summarize it starting from the whole 9 yards. Now, by the whole 9 yards, I mean, some people will start with a bath routine where you make sure you have yourself a body scrub. Some people will go as far as making sure that the body scrub is scented in the scent of the fragrance they want to wear. Say they want to wear a rose fragrance, then they will have like a body scrub that's very rose forward there to make sure that it gets into the pores. And then after that, you're going to go for the moisturizer. Make sure you've got a very good body butter or a moisturizer to make sure that your fragrance really sucks onto that, because fragrance doesn't like dry skin. It likes really moisturized skin. You can go for a souffle. Make sure that you don't use your souffle on your face. It can be a bit aggressive, but it's very good there on the hands and the arms, because it then just opens the pores. And some people will want to go for a body mist right now. I'm sure you've had a lot of people say musk is good for layering. Musk is good for layering. And let me just elaborate this one. Musk is present in about, let's say, 70% of the perfumes. There's a reason why musk is used in 70% of the perfumes, but on its own, why it's almost always recommended for layering, guys, is a musk will work to stabilize volatile ingredients. It ties things together there. It adds some warmth. This is just a basic musk, not a scented musk. You can use a scented musk as well. So if you have a fragrance that you want to tie down, or you feel the ingredients all over the place, or a citrus, you may want to wear a musk to layer it with a musk, so that the musk can help with stabilizing that fragrance, the consistency of that fragrance, tying things together. It will just help in that regard. And yes, you can wear a musk as is, but I'm talking about this in reference to layering with a musk. Okay, so that is the first thing. The second thing is you may want to layer your fragrance with a molecule based fragrance. This is Law 3, and it's a molecular fragrance to my nose. It's like one of those molecular or one. Why you want to layer your fragrance with a molecular based fragrance, guys, is to add some depth to your fragrance without necessarily having notes clash. So this is not going to change the direction of your fragrance, but it's just going to make sure that there is consistency to your fragrance, adding some depth. So say, for instance, I wore this one and this one. It's not going to change this one much, but it's just going to make sure that, there is a little bit of some consistency in there. It's going to make sure that if there was, some notes that were flying about, they're stabilized there without necessarily changing the profile. Okay, so that is the second thing I can say about Now, the next thing I can say about layering, you can literally put one fragrance on top of another directly, or you can wear different fragrances on the same day on different parts. Okay, like say I was saying behind the ears and whatever, you could wear this one and then another one. That's also a form of layering. However, if you are to wear one fragrance on top of the other, make sure that you start with the strongest fragrance first, the heaviest fragrance, and also make sure that you try to keep to like themed fragrances, like note fragrances. Say for instance, I want to wear this one. I might want to layer it with this. I might want to layer it with my camera, because camera has got that spicy woody thing going on there, and this is built around the woods. Why it's best to do it that way, although it's not the only way to do it, is because then you don't have one fragrance domineering the other. Say for instance, you wore Amir Al Oud and you want to layer it with this one. This one might simply be overridden to an extent that it just goes away and you still remain with your Amir Al Oud. So that's another thing I can say, that you can wear like toned fragrances together. If you want to wear this floral, you want to layer it maybe with another floral. So that's another way of doing it. Yes, we're going to get into wearing different fragrances all together to come up with that unique mix. Okay, let's say I have Kismet for women and I don't like, say, maybe the lemony, soapy thing that is in this. What I would go for is a sugary punch. Will it change it that much? To an extent, because that sour tone is probably going to be overridden by or overtaken or overpowered by that sugary accord. This is Mahajan Gold, a fragrance that has black pepper there and a lot of caramel and a sugar accord, like a realistic sugar. So if you mix it with like a limey kind of sour fragrance, there is a chance that these two will marry together perfectly. Okay. Now, this is a cherry based fragrance. I might want to add a fragrance that is very heavy on the rose there. These two will probably marry without clashing, okay, because there is that sweetness of the cherry there that's now marrying with a thick rose there that is also maybe a bit jammy. So that is another way, guys, of layering. This is a very citrusy, heavy forward fragrance. This I find is a good citrus to punch certain profiles. Say for instance, you had let me say this is woody without being too much, right? And you just needed like a citrus touch to it. You want a citrus on steroids. This citrus is one that will be felt. You do not want a light citrus. It's just going to be overpowered, okay? So you may want to layer, say, fragrances like this, but making sure that the citrus you choose, if you want to add a citrus punch to that tobacco-y fragrance, make sure that the citrus is doing the most. Another thing you could do is you could use the same citrus in another fruity toned fragrance like this one. Okay, this is very pineapple forward, but because they're all fruity, right, you can create a unique combination by working with same themed or same accords just to give a twist. But do make sure if it's citruses, guys, it's a heavy citrus. If you put a light citrus there, it's just going to be overshadowed and nothing's going to happen. Now, there is also layering where you may want to intensify your fragrance. Say, for instance, you've got this one. This is Underleaf Flora. It is a floral forward fragrance. Now, this is an oil called Mahasin Crystal. It is a white floral forward fragrance with a sweet tone to it, okay? So this to me comes across as an oil that can boost this fragrance. It kind of is in that same fragrance family that if you used this one, you know, on your body and then you sprayed that, or you actually use this one and then you spray the fragrance on top, it's gonna give you maximum performance and come up as and be amped up and even give you a twist without losing itself. And then there are certain instances, say for instance, you want to change the direction of your fragrance completely. Now you're going to have to take a mad crazy profile there where it's on steroids representing a certain note. This is very coconut forward, to an extent buttery, to an extent milky. Now, without a doubt, using this one together with this one, because this is a gentle oud. Remember, there's a reason why I'm not showing you a Amir Al Oud in this case. This is a gentle oud. There is a chance that you're going to create magic with these two, right? Where you're going to have an oud with a coconut weight, because this coconut is not here to play. It's not your softie of a coconut. It's a coconut that can be heady there. So sometimes you want to pick your fragrances along those lines where, okay, I want to add a coconut weight and change the direction of my fragrance. But what you're going to have as a result is a light oudy coconut scent with these two. The same can be done with this. Okay, now this has that creme brulee. It already has that creaminess, but maybe you want that creaminess to be on steroids, right? So you may want to marry these two and find out the magic. The only way to know what works is by trying it. It's not necessarily going by what I say. I may have tried something and it became magic to my nose, and then you try it and you're like, what the heck? You know, what was she saying? So you can only know these things, guys, by trying them. There is no rule of thumb. Another very dumb, easy way to start your layering process is to start with a vanilla crazy fragrance. A fragrance that's going to present that vanilla note on steroids. From this, guys, of course, I get chocolate and vanilla, but I get a very distinct vanilla as though I'm opening that vanilla essence. Little container there, about to bake some cookies. That's how this vanilla, feels like. I could have come here and shown you vanilla 28, but the problem I have with that fragrance is it's on the pricey side. But why it's popular is Mona got it right. Just give them a vanilla fragrance. Vanilla is a profile that can work across all fragrances, just like the musk. This is why I said 80% of fragrances will have musk. The same with the vanilla. A lot of fragrances will have vanilla. So if you have a fragrance within your collection that you feel is trying, but it's not giving you what you wish it would give you, you could try, layering it with a vanilla forward fragrance. This can even apply to woodsy fragrances, okay, like this. I personally wouldn't use this one on Amir Al Oud because Amir Al Oud has got its vanilla, already. But this is kind of like woody, aromatic kind of thing. But if you feel that those woods are doing too much, just try your choco musk there. Start with the heavy one, but go easy on the heavy one, and then douse a lot of the choco musk so that the choco musk is not kind of overpowered, right? And then it changes the direction of your fragrance. So this is a must-have, especially if you're getting into that layering, territory where you love to layer your fragrances. Another perfect combination is going to be this one, right? This is lip. It's very jasmine forward there, all right? Some people find it having like a masculine accord to it, like a masculine tone to it. If you want that masculine way to kind of soften a little, you may want to use this. Another one that really works with Lip Intense is your soft, okay? This profile, this is very sugar forward, very candy forward. If you douse it on this, you can wear these two on top of each other. They marry perfectly, especially. These are the two that I can say really don't overpower each other, but, just rise to the surface there, creating a unique concoction. So basically, I think we have ironed out layering. The best is to go easy on the heavy one. It's pointless spraying 10 sprays of Amir Al Oud Intense on my arm and then going for the citrus, because I said it's heavy, and then you spray it there. While you've sprayed 10 of that and the citrus, chances are the citrus is not going to have any chance with that, right? So you will still have that original DNA that you were trying to tame coming to the surface. So, okay, you can do 3 sprays of that if it's on top of each other, 3 sprays of that, and maybe 8 sprays of this, okay? So that at least there is a perfect balance there where the wood or the oud is trying to come out, but it does feel like it is in that shadow of the citruses. Okay, so those are the basic things I can say about layering. The rest you'll get to find out as you go. Get profiles that have similarities. I know it sucks to say, okay, why would I want to take this and then layer it with a cream fragrance? Why would I even want to do that? But believe me, guys, it's magical, because what happens is there is that consistency. There is no breakdown. It kind of like ties together and creates a unique fragrance without losing the theme, but without exactly identifying with what each was like in the beginning. So that's the whole point. You can tell me other tips, of course, in the comment section, because I do not know everything, guys. C Chronicles is my name. Thank you so much for that request, SNJ Zanad 430. Thank you so much. You prompted me to make this a video. Check out C Chronicles Unscripted, guys, and do turn on post notifications on both channels. That way you get to be notified anytime I post videos on either. Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.